Good morning. Welcome to Trading Hour. I'm Reema Tendulkar with me, Surbhi Upadhyay and Pavitra Parekh. And so far, it's been a quiet Tuesday morning. Flat on the benchmark indices. The Nifty is just down 9 points. Sensex lower by 88 points. Tata Steel, Hindalco are the top two Nifty losers. Tata Steel posts the negative EBITDA per ton margins in the European business, and Hindalco posts the weakness seen in the Novelis business. So these are your top two losers. Apart from that, ITC reversing some of the outperformance that we had since the beginning of the year. Year to date, ITC was up 12%, but today it's coming in for some amount of profit booking. Their rally appears to have paused. A couple of auto names too are under pressure. Hero MotoCorp, Tata Motors down close to about 1.5%. On the gaining side, well, today it's all about Adani. Adani Enterprises is up close to about 14%. Ports has rallied another 7.5%. For the last two trading sessions, Adani Ports has come in for buying interest, but today you are seeing buying picking up and things are improving by the minute now for Adani Ports and Adani Enterprises. Transmission too. After many lower circuits, Adani Transmission today is up 5%. Green too, right? That's Adani Green is up close to about 1.5%. So things have quietened, calmed down clearly on the Adani front, and buying has emerged. Hi.
Hi, ladies. Absolutely, it's quiet, quiet with sort of, very flat undertones, with banks being the outliers. Actually, it's not just India. That's the picture pretty much across Asia, pretty much what we saw across the globe as well. The global rally has hit a bit of a speed bump, and today's second day running, we have enough evidence of that. So before I toss it to Pavitra for more on the domestic action, that's the Bank Nifty, which of course is the one that's been holding out in positive territory. Let's pull up some of the Asian markets and the dollar maybe, or the US 10-year if we can. That's what's really setting the agenda. So barring the Hong Kong market, which is of course doing its own thing, most of Asia is flip-flopping between red and positive. Stock points continue to be the same. The US 10-year is decisively above the 3.5% handle, and the dollar index is holding just around the 103.5, 103.5 mark. There we go. It's still around that level. So it's not like there was a flash up move on the yield and the dollar and then it kind of sort of declined and the rally resumed. No, global markets are still in pause mode, and that would explain, of course, how our markets are kind of taking it a little quiet, little easy as well, Pavitra.
Oh, absolutely. So it's absolutely flat right now. Like Surbhi mentioned, it is really the banks which are holding up today. The PSU Bank Index is the one which is gaining the most. But of course, this is after coming, severely under pressure for the beginning part of the year. Some of the larger names will be up on your screen, so you can see the gains coming through there. The Bajaj twins are holding up in the green. You have a lot of these new age companies which are doing well. Paytm, of course, hit upper circuit, but even something like a Nykaa, you have PB Fintech. These are some which are holding up well in a very flat market. Metals very split. So you have JSW Steel, JSPL, which are, faring better. But Tata Steel, of course, after its disappointing earnings, is the top loser on the Nifty. You also have Hindalco under pressure after Novelis posted results. So that's what's going on in terms of stock-specific action. But, Surbhi was talking about how the global picture has been a little bit, has seen a little bit of a halt. This is after the solid jobs report came through, which is, once again ignited fears of a Fed rate hike. In that context, it will be important to hear out what Fed Chair Powell has to say later tonight. So that's an important cue to watch. And then, of course, for our own markets, we also do have the RBI monetary policy, which is tomorrow. So those are two important cues that we are tracking. But that's what's going on with the market. Let us get you some corporate conversations on the show now. The first one is Suven Pharma that we're looking at today after its third quarter numbers, of course. And the company did post a sequential improvement, but the numbers are weak if you take a look at it versus last year. So let's talk about how they're, going to fare going forward, what the outlook really looks like. We have Venkat Jasti, who's MD of Suven Pharma, to take some questions now. Mr. Jasti, thanks a lot for joining us. This is Pavitra. So like I was pointing out, there seems to be a little bit of a slowing right now. After Q2, we remember you guided saying that your revenue for FY23 will be the same as FY22. You had revised it from saying, from the earlier guidance which said that there will be a decline. So how are things looking right now? And do you still maintain that for all of FY23, that it will be same as FY22?
Yes, Pavitra, yes, certainly the guidance will remain as is. They were telling originally we were thinking 5% less growth this year, less turnover this year. But last con call, we have clearly mentioned we are able to meet a flattish growth. So we still maintain that our year end, it will be at a flattish to maybe slight 1% increase, maybe there.
Okay, what can you tell us about the margin outlook, Mr. Jasti? I'm not talking about the fourth quarter alone, but I'm talking about sort of overall as you're looking forward to FY24 as well.
Yes, the margin outlook will be similar to what was in a combined way. As you could see, yes, even though there is a lesser margin for this 9 months together, because that is mainly for the product mix. Product mix is the specialty chemicals. We have almost equal the last year's whole sales, because this is a cyclical in nature. So they comes sometimes in a certain quarters. Sometimes then it will be moved out for another 2 quarters, then again come back again. So compared to the CRAMS, which is down by 15%, 45%, the specialty chemicals has gone up but this quarter by 50%. That's why you see the less margins, even though the sequentially it is better, and the year-on-year basis is more or less flat.
So just to clarify, you're saying, FY24 will be more of the same. So should we expect margins to be in a range of 40 to 41%, and a higher contribution by specialty chemicals? That's what you're saying.
Yes, margins will be in the same range as of now, because we don't have much visibility on the CRAM side of the business. So that's why we're giving that at least that much is the margins. Minimum is the margins, around 40 to 43%.
Got that. That's about Suven Pharma. Mr. Jasti, everyone's also looking ahead because now Advent holds a majority stake in the company. There is going to be that open offer as well. And there will be an eventual merger of Sun Pharma with Cohance. And Sun Pharma's margins are 40% plus, but Cohance's margins are just 28%. So can you give us an indication of the merged entity and what the blended margins will look like and from when? And what would be the trajectory of the merged entity's margins?
There are a couple of things. So Advent, we have signed a definitive agreement only. And nothing has happened, and it's running as is Suven Pharma only. And I do not have any inside information on the Cohance. And mind you, the Cohance will be merged according to Advent. Cohance will be merged into Suven Pharma, not the other way around. And what will be the activity they are going to do, we don't know. But still, our thing has to go, the CCA approval, the OP approval, all these things has to go to consummate this transaction. Until that time, it will be concentrating only on the Suven Pharma. I cannot comment on anything on the Advent, what they want to do, whether they want to merge. They have mentioned, yes, they want to merge. Whether they want to merge or not is only post the transaction. Until that time, I cannot be able to answer on behalf of them.
So, Mr. Jasti, since we're talking about the merger, what lies ahead? I mean, what will the Jasti family's role be in terms of the shareholding? Do you plan to sell any further? And what about your own sort of personal role in the merged entity? How do you see the next few quarters playing out as the merger goes through?
See, as you know, first of all, the transaction has to go through. Then if they want to do the merger, then it has to be the NCLT process. It's a long way to go. Until that time, I'll be handling, and post the transaction, we'll be still holding 10% stake, 9.9% rather, and we'll be an advisor when the full transaction takes place. Otherwise, I mean, as an advisor only, I'll be working with them for about 2 to 3 years.
Do you think you will continue to hold 9.9% stake for a very long time? Or do you think perhaps in 3 years, 5 years, you could look to even sell that balance stake? Have you?
I think it's very difficult to tell at this time. As of now, we want to keep it as it is because according to them, there will be value creation will be there. So why not? That's the reason. That's the whole process, thought process.
Is there a right? Is there a right of first refusal with Advent if you choose to sell your stake?
No, I can do whatever I want.
Okay. All right, Mr. Jasti, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining in. We've got so many boardrooms and corporate conversations going, so we're going to keep this one a little short. That's Suven Pharma for you. The stock is down 1.5%. Get into a break. We get you excerpts from our conversation with Joseph McMonagly of International Energy Forum from the sidelines of the India Energy Week.
टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी MDF का लो एमिशन प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, हायर डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी है, यानी ये है जहाँ नो टेंशन वहाँ।
लो एमिशन प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
जब आप आगे चलते हैं तो बहुत कुछ पीछे छूट जाता है, और जब आप रोज 10,000 स्टेप्स चलते हैं तो किसी की बिल्डिंग की लिफ्ट पीछे छूट जाती है, तो किसी की लाइफ से स्ट्रेस मीलों पीछे छूट जाता है। यही नहीं, आपके आदित्य बिरला हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्लान्स के प्रीमियम की टेंशन भी पीछे छूट जाती है, क्योंकि आपको मिलेगा अप टू 100% प्रीमियम वापस एज हेल्थ रिटर्न्स और सीमलेस हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन बेनिफिट्स भी। सही सेहत की शुरुआत अभी करो।
बालकनी
सेम है,
ड्राइंग रूम
भी सेम है,
किचन एरिया
सेम है।
हमने लिए 90 लाख में, आपने लिए 80 लाख में।
ये सेम क्यों नहीं?
क्योंकि आपके और हमारे होम सर्च ऐप सेम नहीं है। जानिए प्राइस ट्रेंड्स और सही ट्रांजैक्शन प्राइसेस ऑन 99acres.com। घर लेना हो या बेचना, 99 acres से ही पूछना।
Meet the outstanding women who are changing the face of leadership in the world of finance.
The most important things, if you ask me, is the quality that you should have when you're wanting to do investments. And more than intellect, I would say it is the temperament.
Finally, how you reach your goals is actually more dependent on how well diversified you are across different asset classes.
People think that investing is about picking the hot dot and the hot stock. It's about picking the winners. Actually, it's about avoiding the losers.
The wealth creators who are shaping India's growth story. A mega initiative to make gender parity an attainable reality. HSBC presents CNBC-TV18 Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective.
Presented by HSBC. Knowledge partner Deloitte. Industry partner Vicky. Associate partner Reliance Industries Limited.
तुम तो मेरी रोशनी हो।
तेरी रोशनी हूं मैं, किस ना।
कल आज और कल में देश के हर पल में, कल आज और कल में देश के हर पल में। कभी परछाई बनके, कभी विश्वास बनके, दिल में साहस का एहसास बनके, उम्मीदों को सच्चाई के रंग से सजाते हैं। मुश्किलें कोई हरदम साथ निभाते हैं। कल आज और कल में रहते हैं, देश के हर पल में रहते हैं। कल आज और कल में रहते हैं, देश के
1956 से आज तक LIC हर पल आपके साथ।
Everything we know, everything we love, might well be at risk. The time for action is now. Together, we can be champions for the Earth.
Welcome back. You're with us on Trading Hour. Let's talk commodities now. With oil prices facing extreme volatility post-COVID and Russian invasion, the focus is now shifting to alternative fuel. Our colleague Manisha Gupta caught up with Joseph McMonigal, the Secretary General of the International Energy Forum, to find out if there are any solutions and where does India stand in the global energy sector.
If China does reopen and India's economy still continues to thrive the way it is, I think we could be in a situation where we're in a supply crisis in 2023. I think if we don't learn the lesson about a lack of investment in hydrocarbons while we pursue the energy transition, I think we're going to see high prices and volatility as the new normal. Big consuming countries like India, big producing countries like Saudi Arabia, we try to keep them talking to have a dialogue on the importance of, stable markets, not a lot of volatility, making sure that we have investments so prices don't spike. I am worried about this issue of underinvestment, not just in India, but globally. Supply or demand now is back to pre-COVID levels. It's more than 100% of pre-COVID levels globally. But supply is only about 97% of pre-COVID levels. Now, a lot of people think that's all OPEC or OPEC plus, that they're just not producing enough. But half of that gap is from my country in the United States. The shale producers and the different international oil companies are not producing enough in the U.S. The bottom line is we need more investment in hydrocarbons so that we can meet future demand and keep the lights on, basically. Well, India is going to be, I said in my meeting with Prime Minister Modi, the demand growth center of the world for the next 20 years. So what happens in India on demand, efficiency, energy transition technologies, it's not an understatement to say that India will decide the future of energy for the world. And these topics are just really, really important, and a lot of them are very unique to India. A lot of attention is on China, but India, rightly so, I think, has a lot of, needs to have a lot more focus. Also, Southeast Asia, taking out China out of the mix is another hot demand center. And so that's why we're focused a lot on Asia these days.
Get into a short break. On that note, on the other side, we'll discuss the earnings with the management of Balaji Amines.
Pull up the flicks and I take it on gear. Pull up the hands and I feel it on gear. I dig it on. I sick it on. Take it on the roll and the show and the pull up the flicks and I pull up.
Hello, Goosebumps, the new Volkswagen Virtus.
देखो 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 नया टीवी देखो. Aha! Got the veggies from Chotu's shop? He gives the right rate.
Yes, Papa.
Decided. 55-inch TV on this wall.
Oh, super. I'll write out the check tomorrow.
No, you don't. I will, with my own money.
Oh, wow. How come?
Look at this advertisement. 30% assured returns on investment. I am also going to invest my money.
So vegetables only from Chotu's shop, but investment advice from anyone? Papa, trusting a stranger's advice is never wise.
But what about the TV?
सोच कर समझ कर इन्वेस्ट कर.
सर मैंने स्काईस्केप में घर ले लिया है.
स्काईस्केप वही है ना. शाम होते ही मच्छर टेक ऑफ कर देते हैं और मेट्रो का काम चलने से पूरी टर्बुलेंस रहती है वहाँ, है ना.
आपने कहाँ देख लिया?
99 एकर्स रेटिंग्स एंड रिव्यूज. जो साइट विजिट ना दिखाए वही ये बताए. अब हर कोई बनेगा प्रॉपर्टी एक्सपर्ट विद 99 एकर्स. घर लेना हो या बेचना, 99 एकर्स से ही पूछना.
When our big boss was MD, he used to take care of us.
And our Prince Sahab is busy ensuring his family.
Oh, big boss, you?
He's busy obtaining term insurance for his family. After all, office is also our family. Am I right?
Let's close the deal. Thank you. Verma ji, will you have tea with this prince?
LIC's Group Term Assurance Plan takes care of your office family.
मेरे पास सेलो है. गर्मा गर्म चाय.
सेलो वैक्यूम स्टील की थर्मोसील टेक्नोलॉजी रखे गर्म को गर्म और ठंडे को ठंडा 24 घंटे. सेलो वैक्यूम स्टील फ्लास्क.
When you live up to expectations, then winning people's trust is possible. And trust results in Bandhan, like Bandhan Bank, India's fastest growing bank. Bandhan Bank, aapka bhala, sabki bhalai.
What if you were a global bank who wanted to crunch billions of transactions against thousands of compliance controls? So you tap IBM to unsilo your data. And now you can supercharge your audit system with AI. Let's create smarter ways of putting your data to work. IBM, let's create.
इतनी सी सैलरी में घर की EMI कैसे भरूंगी? काश तुमने जाने से पहले टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लिया होता.
पॉलिसी बाजार पे 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 430 रुपए महीने से शुरू.
भैया वो फ्री वाला शुगर है ना यार.
भैया जी फ्री का ही चाहिए तो आस्था ट्रेड पर डीमैट अकाउंट खोल लो ना. यहाँ पे इंट्राडे स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग बिल्कुल ब्रोकरेज फ्री है.
इंट्राडे स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग बिना किसी ब्रोकरेज के सिर्फ आस्था ट्रेड फ्लो ऐप पर.
When timeless European design meets cutting edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं. अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए.
रेणु
लोन हो गया। बस अब सिर्फ मार्जिन अमाउंट का सवाल है।
यूनियन बैंक से गोल्ड लोन लेकर होम लोन के मार्जिन अमाउंट का पेमेंट कर सकते हैं हम।
एक मिनट, तुम्हें कैसे पता? मैं यूनियन बैंक से ही होम लोन ले रहा हूँ।
पापा, हम अपने नए घर में कैसे रहेंगे?
अपनी नई कार में।
और ये कार लोन भी यूनियन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया से?
हाँ, अब घर और कार का सुनहरा सपना साकार।
यूनियन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, अच्छे लोग, अच्छा बैंक।
Welcome back. Let's get another corporate conversation going. Balaji Mines has reported a weak set of earnings in Q3. Revenue growth was meager at 4%. Profits have declined by 17%, and margins have seen a very sharp fall. Margins, as you can see, have fallen from, these are the 9-month pictures, but if you compare Q3 margins versus Q3 FY23 margins versus the same time last year, you would see margins are at 22% versus 28%. So 600 basis points decline seen in the operating margins of Balaji Mines. We're now joined by the MD of the company, D. Rama Reddy, on the show now. Mr. Reddy, morning, and thanks so much for joining in. Rima here. First, if you could talk about the top line. Your 9-month revenue growth is 22%, but it slowed down significantly. Q3 revenue growth is just 4%. We've spoken about headwinds in pharma API. How long do you think it will last? Is Q4 also going to be muted for you? Does it spill over into FY24? And what's causing this weakness?
See, this is because of the slowdown in the pharma API around the globe. I think we feel, if you see the consolidated basis, we have done 22% growth. We feel when you compare with the industry, we have done reasonably well. But this quarter still, we see a little slow continuously for this quarter also. Maybe end of the year, there should be some improvements according to our feelings, because of there are 2-3 reasons. One is there was a China problem, matching raw material problem. And there was a war. Still, the people, Europe has to come out of this war problems, because they're not getting, just now they started getting the gas sufficiently for the industry. Earlier, a lot of important products they close to manufacture. They've selected a few products only to produce because of the shortage of the gas. Now, going forward, we feel because of the sufficient gases is available for them from this quarter onwards, we feel that there should be some improvement in the end of the year. Maybe first quarter of the next year should come to the first or second quarter should come to the normal position.
Okay, Mr. Reddy, so give us some more clarity. One is this gas availability that starts clearing up, and that will obviously help the top line. Also, I believe you have some more capacity coming on stream. Is that also going to happen in the first quarter? By when? So just trying to understand how will the top line grow, say, the start of FY24 or first half of FY24?
See, we feel whatever is slowdown is temporary. There's a reason we have not stopped any expansion plans. The plan number 1, the methylamine plant, which is in execution level full swing. By second half of the next year, it will go into the full steam. And along with that, we received the environmental clearance for the many products. Like next product is the butylamines, which is again first time in the country, which goes in the majority into the pharma industry. And that will be coming up by end of the year, end of the next year. You will see these 2 projects. One is the methylamine and second is the butylamine. And after this, we have the lined up for the acetonitrile with the new technology, new thing, which may come year after the year. That is, I'm talking about the next 2 years plan. We have got the clearance for the dimethyl formide also. We have the presently 30,000 capacity. We are planning to add additional 30,000 tons capacity, subject to the market acceptance. As the country's consumption for this DMF is almost 90,000 tons today. The entire thing is met from the imports. We feel that these are the growth plans for the next 2 years.
Okay, Mr. Reddy, thanks for joining us. So this capacity that you're planning to add, can you tell us how you're planning to fund this, and also what is the kind of potential that you see in terms of revenue, and how soon can we see it start flowing in from this added capacity?
See, as you know that our company is totally debt free. As of now, we don't have any debt. And in fact, we are sitting on the surplus funds. So these expansions will be met from the entire internal accruals only. We are not raising any borrowings or any other way of fundraising. We will be doing entire thing by the our own funds, internal accruals. And you will see these revenues partly for the next financial year. Maybe one quarter we will have the revenues from these two projects. But year after the next, then definitely you will see the minimum of 500 to 600 crores additional revenue from these two projects.
So just to clarify on that point, with the new projects coming on stream, gas availability improving, I think earlier you've told us that you are looking at revenues of around 4,000 crores in FY24. Do you stick by that guidance?
Not 24, it is FY25. Yes, we are. Okay. I'm still saying that after commissioning these four projects, yes, we are aiming to touch 4,000 crores in 2025.
Okay. So FY23, 9 months, you've done about 1,900 crores. Assuming you do a similar run rate as Q3, 550, 600 crores thereabout, you should get to 2,500 crore for FY23. What could FY24 look like?
See, FY23, we have guided around 2,400, but still we are ahead of 2,400. We'll be doing between 2,400 to 2,500 this year. And next year, 2024, it should be around 2,600 to 2,800.
Got it. And the year after, you're saying it should hit 4,000 with the help of your expanded capacity. Thank you very much, Mr. Reddy. Out of time, we need to get into a very short break. We'll come back and discuss market technicals. Vitesh Thakkar of earningswave.com joins in.
टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी MDF का लो एमिशन प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, हायर डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी है, यानी ये है जहाँ नो टेंशन वहाँ।
लो एमिशन प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
नमस्ते बेटे।
Auntie, we are missing you.
Nice. What was Amit?
On his way, I'm sure.
Sorry.
Forget sorry. Show us your gift.
It's right here. It's many birthday gifts in one birthday gift.
Ah, how is that?
LIC's Dhanrekha policy, guaranteed benefits, money back, full payout on maturity, and premium payment only till half term. Then the missus can plan whatever she wishes. Jewelry shopping, house renovation, holiday.
For that you'll come on time, na?
Guaranteed. LIC Dhanrekha, खुशियों का तोहफा।
अपने घर और कमर्शियल स्पेसेस को बनाइए अल्ट्रा मॉडर्न, इनोवेटिव, इको फ्रेंडली with quick installation. All this at the one-stop destination. Euro Pratik.
एक वक्त था जब हम घड़ी सिर्फ वक्त देखने के लिए खरीदते थे। आज धड़कनों का हिसाब भी घड़ी रखती है। फोन खरीदते थे कि अपनों से बात हो जाए, पर आज पूरी दुनिया फोन में रखते हैं। घड़ी हो या फोन, वक्त के साथ सब कुछ स्मार्ट हो गया है। और आपके घर खरीदने का डिसीजन, क्योंकि आप सिर्फ घर नहीं चुनते, आप चुनते हैं अच्छा आस पड़ोस, बेटर कनेक्टिविटी, बेटर कंस्ट्रक्शन और सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी टाइम से पहले डिलीवरी का भरोसा। तो करना है अगर अपने घर का सिलेक्शन, सिग्नेचर ग्लोबल है ना, ले लीजिए स्मार्ट डिसीजन।
Bali, here I come. Beda, check the weather in Bali. Passport? Where is my passport?
Today 23 degrees, tomorrow 24.
Not today or tomorrow, after 3 months. Khanna uncle is taking all of us to Bali. He has got some solid investment tip. Doubles the money in 3 months.
Let me guess. He's received some kind of hot SMS tip, right?
Correct. How did you know?
I receive such SMSs all the time.
Acha?
If these SMSs were reliable, we'd be on a world tour every 6 months, na? Papa, relying on anonymous SMS tip? Be prepared to take a dip.
So this won't be used at all?
Oh.
सोच कर, समझ कर, इन्वेस्ट कर, इन्वेस्ट कर।
It's the place where our worlds come together. She's the one, and the moment lasts forever.
When you own every moment, the world will wait. Presenting Van Heusen Destination Weddings.
When it comes to making your drive electric, never settle for the ordinary. Go EV with India's #1 EV, Nexon EV. Proven and trusted by over 40,000 customers. Feature loaded and safe, offering a premium driving experience. Now with enhanced range and an exciting new price. Nexon EV. Drive what drove India electric.
आप जानते हैं 15 सेकंड का ऐड कितना लंबा होता है? काफी बोरिंग है, इसलिए डायरेक्ट बता देता हूँ। आस्था ट्रेड पर ऑप्शंस में 5,000 रुपए का ब्रोकरेज फ्री। तो बनाइए फ्लो ऐप पर अपना डीमैट अकाउंट।
99 एकर्स रेटिंग्स एंड रिव्यूज। जो साइट विजिट ना दिखाए कोई ये बताए। अब हर कोई बनेगा प्रॉपर्टी एक्सपर्ट विद 99 एकर्स। घर लेना हो या बेचना, 99 एकर्स से ही पूछना।
सुरेश,
Yes, brother.
please take care of it, huh?
Sure, I'll do it.
Really? You're concerned for it even if you're going to the village for just 2 days. But you never think about us this way.
Everything will be fine. My Rickshaw Union Group has taken LIC's Group Micro-Term Assurance Plan.
Papa.
Wow! Now, no matter what, my family will keep moving forward.
Get LIC's Group Micro-Term Assurance Plan. Keep your family secure.
Hey guys, welcome back. You're still tuned into Trading Hour on CNBC-TV18. It is quite flat for the markets even now, just around a 20-point cut that we are seeing on the Nifty. The Nifty bank has also just about slipped into the red right now as we've been talking, but that index doing just a tad better. The stocks which are in the green still include a lot of the financials, so the likes of Kotak, the Bajaj Prince holding up well, SBI after its earnings yesterday and the run that it saw yesterday also doing quite well. And you do have Adani Enterprises and Ports, which are the top gainers on the Nifty right now. But let's get you a technical check on the market. Mitesh Thakkar joins us for exactly that. Mitesh, like we've been saying, it's a pretty flat day of trade, but we do have some important cues lined up as well. Would you take a call on the index ahead of those?
See, the index, good morning, good afternoon, rather, was looking slightly positively biased, but there is no breakout happening at the upper end beyond 17,800, 850 zone. So we are waiting it out, but above that, I think, there should be some momentum and 18,000 could be revisited. So it's a trading kind of a move. But what is happening is that the metals index is kind of giving breakdowns and a lot of metal stocks are showing weakness, while IT and mid caps are showing some strength. So as of now, trading is more of stock specific biased.
And what would those stock-specific calls be, Mitesh?
Yeah. So I have one buy and one sell call right now. Navin Florian is something which has been moving up for the last few days. The setup has turned very positive here. So that's a buy with a stop below 41.40 and a target of around 42.60 on the upside that we looked at. And NMDC is a breakdown, negative kind of a setup over there, breakdown happening on the charts over there. So that's a sell call. Keep a stop at 119, look for targets of 110.
Okay, all right, Mitesh, got that. Thanks very much for the calls this late morning, should we call it? Early, not yet afternoon, but late morning. Let's move on to a Network 18 exclusive. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman spoke exclusively to Rahul Joshi on two key macro issues. She expects the declining trend in inflation to sustain and says India's twin deficit problem is not as severe as before. Listen in.
The way in which inflation has come down, both by RBI's action and by the government's action, and the government's action has been steady and at it for some time. So I expect, since the fall in the inflation, it doesn't seem to be just a momentary or a 1 month affair. It should sustain itself in the process of coming down.
Any concern that you feel is there because of the twin deficit problems?
It's not as severe as before.
Yes.
Yes, when exports come down, you're going to have the current account deficit. But it's also now suddenly going up as well as it was before, a couple of months ago. Monthly fluctuations I say.
Yes.
Fluctuations should not worry us.
Okay, that's the finance minister on a couple of important issues. We take a quick break on that note. On the other side, an earnings call with the management of JK Paper.
देखो 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 नया टीवी
Papa?
देखो aha got the veggies from Chotu's shop. He gives the right rate.
Yes, Papa.
Decided 55-inch TV on this wall.
Oh, super. I'll write out the check tomorrow.
No, you don't. I will with my own money.
Oh, wow. How come?
Look at this advertisement. 30% assured returns on investment. I am also going to invest my money.
So vegetables only from Chotu's shop, but investment advice from anyone? Papa, trusting a stranger's advice is never wise.
But what about the TV?
सोच कर समझ कर इन्वेस्ट कर
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
Grow your business in partnership with Meta and Startup Street.
My journey from being a fairly popular mathematician and being celebrated as the world's fastest human calculator into being the founder of Bhanzo, which is changing the lives and learning trajectories of millions of children. We required a channel to amplify the voice of what we think people out there will love to learn from, and amplifying it with Meta, with targeting crisp 1-minuters which strike a chord with the audience in terms of saying, hey, that's the way I like my child learning mathematics, led me to increase the number of people I reached out by 3,000 to 4,000%. And with Facebook and Instagram platforms, this journey of building a community of math learners, changing the way thousands of children look at mathematics, has been truly possible and has been possible at a global stretch.
Grow your business in partnership with Meta and Startup Street.
Friends, I want to share some good news with all of you. Firstly, like always, we have performed very well this time also.
But what will we get?
Secondly, we shall invest in employee benefit.
Come on, now tell us what will we get?
And thirdly, we shall invest in LIC's group funded plans.
Great, we'll get everything! Now, leave encashment, gratuity, and along with pension, our future is secure.
Yes, employees' real benefit lies in LIC pension and group scheme.
बात सिर्फ मेरी नहीं, देश की थी। माइनस डिग्री में भी कॉन्फिडेंस प्लस में रहता था। वो जज्बा आज भी बरकरार है, सही मूव लेने के लिए, क्योंकि अब बात सिर्फ मेरी है। सिग्नेचर ग्लोबल आपके इसी अंदाज को सल्यूट करता है। इंडिपेंडेंट फ्लोज फॉर द इंडिपेंडेंट यू।
बीमारी हुई तो पता लगा कि हॉस्पिटल का बिल ऑफिस के हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस से कई गुना ज्यादा है। काश मैंने हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस लिया होता। पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 390 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European bath lounges.
Balcony?
Same है।
Drawing room?
भी same है।
Kitchen area?
Same है।
हमने लिए 90 लाख में, आपने लिए 80 लाख में।
ये सेम क्यों नहीं?
क्योंकि आपके और हमारे होम सर्च ऐप सेम नहीं है। जानिए प्राइस ट्रेंड्स और सही ट्रांजैक्शन प्राइसेस ऑन 99acres.com। घर लेना हो या बेचना, 99 acres से ही पूछना।
भैया वो फ्री वाला शुगर है ना यार।
भैया जी फ्री का ही चाहिए तो आस्था ट्रेड पे डीमैट अकाउंट खोल लो ना। यहाँ पे इंट्राडे स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग बिल्कुल ब्रोकरेज फ्री है।
इंट्राडे स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग बिना किसी ब्रोकरेज के, सिर्फ आस्था ट्रेड फ्लो ऐप पर।
Welcome back. You're with us on Trading Hour. The market is going absolutely nowhere. Total flat trends. It's so choppy, but choppy in what, about a 70 to 80 point band. That's what this day has been all about, at least up until now. The Adani group of stocks is still holding up. So that's one headline you can still go with. Adani Enterprises is up almost 15%, ports 6.5%, transmission, Adani Green. Most of the Adani stocks are up and about today. Those are some of the major trends worth perhaps highlighting. Adani Total Gas, by the way, is an exception to that otherwise blanket statement. Total Gas is the one stock that's still in negative territory. Okay, as promised, let's get to that conversation with the management of JK Paper. The company reported a very strong set of numbers for the third quarter. The company posted a 60% jump in the revenue and 120% growth in profits. The margin also improved to about 34% from 24% on a year-on-year basis. We have with us now JK Paper's President and Director A.S. Mehta to take on some questions. Mr. Mehta, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Phenomenal quarter, really. Look at that top line growth. Look at the jump at the EBITDA level as well. Now, is this entirely a function of very strong pricing? Or is this something that can perhaps sustain as we go into Q4 and into the next year? Give us a breakup into how much of this is volume-led and how much is just straight out because of higher prices.
See, something around 30 to 32% is because of the volume. As we commissioned our packaging board capacity last year, January, and so that capacity is now being operated at somewhere around 90%. So that's a volume addition. Predominantly packaging board and also some writing printing paper from our Sirpur paper mills. So the volume is something around 30-32%, and rest is the pricing. Of course, the prices and across all the categories were higher compared to last year, the same period.
Okay. Can we?
And when you talk about the margin, I would say that the prices of packaging board has started coming down. Coated paper has coming down. So in fact, there is a drop in prices in these two categories, but writing printing paper, the prices are fairly stable. There is no drop. So in going forward, this Q4 also, I would say that NSR would be lower in these two categories, coated and the packaging board, and that will certainly have some bearing on the margin.
So Q4 margins would be lower than Q3 margins?
I think so.
And by how much, sir, approximately?
I mean, it's very difficult at this stage because to what extent the packaging board market will behave, because right now the packaging board, domestic as well as the export, both these markets are not very favorable at this point of time. So the total margin will be defined by the packaging board trend in coming months, February and March.
All right, that point is well taken. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Mehta. This is Pavitra. You know, earlier you had guided for around 5,500 to 6,000 crores in terms of FY23 revenue. If I'm looking at the around 1,600 crores that you've done in Q3 as well, it looks like you're set to sort of cross that for the year. Would you like to revise your revenue guidance?
Yes, I would say that we should be crossing 6,500 now for this fiscal year.
Okay, you will be crossing 6,500. Can you tell us what part this is really going to be led by? Where are you seeing the maximum demand come through? Because like you were mentioning, exports clearly is a little bit soft, but can you tell us where you are seeing good demand?
See, I would say that, of course, there is some drop in the demand of packaging board, but still, this is likely to revive mid-February and March. And predominantly, the top line, it will be because of the packaging board and certainly the prices of writing and printing paper. These two factors will be important for our crossing the 6,500 crore revenue. Also, there will be quarter consolidated revenue of our corrugation business, because now this Q4 full quarter consolidation will happen.
Mr. Mehta, how are input costs behaving? I mean, you're guiding for a slightly softer Q4 in terms of margin. How are inputs behaving, and will you have the pricing flexibility to pass on any raw material inflation?
See, I would say that input cost in the Q4, I would say that it will be fairly stable, or it will be in line with the Q3. So I don't foresee any major input cost increases in Q4 compared to Q3. So there is no question of passing or doing anything. The prices of product will certainly depend on the margin, the market demand of the different categories.
Could you tell us a little bit more about this packaging board? By how much has demand come off compared to, say, what it was 3 months ago, 6 months ago? And what is the reason for that? And how much does it contribute to your overall revenues and EBITDA?
See, I would say that the packaging board demand, the contraction is something around 5 to 10% compared to the last 3 months. and predominantly it is because of the export-driven conversion from Indian converters as well as the pharma sector, because the demand of pharmaceutical the segment in our packaging board is slightly lower this quarter. So these two are the factors of lower packaging board demand, which I would say that now this is going to be a normal period after 15th of February.
Okay, that is on packaging board. Just one final question on your market share. The last time we spoke, you had told us that there's an increase to 28% from 24%. Is there any change right now? What is the market share looking like?
I think it has already crossed 29%. So hopefully 29 to 30% should be the market share in the office paper category.
Okay. Mr. Mehta, I don't know if we have time to squeeze in one quick one. You mentioned that for packaging board, your new capacity that came on stream, you're already running at 90% capacity. What is your blended utilization and what's the capex plan as you look at the next financial year?
See, the blended utilization, I would say in overall our capacity utilization is 104%. And the packaging board, once we start hitting 100%, which I hope to do next quarter, so our overall utilization should be over 105%. And the capex, I would say that right now, since this was a 2,000 crore only last year, so now whatever we do, it is not in writing, printing and packaging right now. I mean, we need to invest in the corrugation business now. And thereafter, we'll see, I mean, what to do with the white segment.
Mr. Mehta, we leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining in. That's JK Paper, still on track to hit 6,500 crores of revenues in FY23, but they're watching the packaging board business. That's come under a bit of pressure. Demand is down 5 to 10% for the packaging business, and that's because the pharma sector contribution to the packaging business has been a bit muted, and this could weigh on Q4 margins as well. The stock is a bit subdued today, down 1%, but in the last 1 year, JK Paper has rallied nearly 70%. Get into a break. On the other side, we'll get you details of CNBC-TV18 RBI monetary policy poll ahead of the big decision tomorrow.
जब पापा को पता लगा कि मैं आने वाली हूँ, तो उन्होंने अपने स्टार्टअप ड्रीम को रीस्टार्ट किया। सबको लगा कि वो सेल्फिश हो रहे हैं, सिर्फ अपनी सोच रहे हैं। सेल्फिश? सच तो ये था कि पापा ये सब मेरे लिए कर रहे थे, ताकि मैं ये सीख सकूं। सपना है तो पूरा करके दिखाओ।
करो पूरे अपने इरादे, अपनों से किए सभी वादे। SBI लाइफ, अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए।
Bertram, meet Hector, the car that pampers me.
Pampers you, sir? Only a car.
Hello, MG. Good morning.
Good morning. What a beautiful day.
This is my favorite. Traffic jam assist. Ta-da!
Sir, please.
Relax. Hector's got this. Told you, it pampers me. The next gen MG Hector. It's a human thing.
Bali, here I come. Beda, check the weather in Bali. Passport? Where is my passport?
Today 23 degrees, tomorrow 24.
Not today or tomorrow. After 3 months. Khanna uncle is taking all of us to Bali. He has got some solid investment tip. Doubles the money in 3 months.
Let me guess. He's received some kind of hot SMS tip, right?
Correct. How did you know?
I receive such SMSs all the time.
Acha?
If these SMSs were reliable, we'd be on a world tour every 6 months, na? Papa, relying on anonymous SMS tip? Be prepared to take a dip.
So this won't be used at all?
Oh.
सोच कर, समझ कर, invest कर।
सर, मैंने स्काईस्केप में घर ले लिया है।
स्काईस्केप वही है ना? शाम होते ही मच्छर टेक ऑफ कर देते हैं और मेट्रो का काम चलने से पूरी टर्बुलेंस रहती है वहाँ, है ना?
आपने कहाँ देख लिया?
99 एकर्स रेटिंग्स एंड रिव्यूज। जो साइट विजिट ना दिखाए वही ये बताए। अब हर कोई बनेगा प्रॉपर्टी एक्सपर्ट विद 99 एकर्स। घर लेना हो या बेचना, 99 एकर्स से ही पूछना।
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
कभी सोचा नहीं था कि डॉक्टर फैमिली से होकर भी एक आर्टिस्ट से शादी करूंगी।
वैसे डॉक्टर को वाइफ बनाना भी एक आर्ट है।
अरे सिग्नेचर ग्लोबल आपके इसी अंदाज को सल्यूट करता है। इंडिपेंडेंट फ्लोर्स फॉर द इंडिपेंडेंट यू।
आप जानते हैं 15 सेकंड का ऐड कितना लंबा होता है? काफी बोरिंग है, इसीलिए डायरेक्ट बता देता हूँ। आस्था ट्रेड पर ऑप्शंस में 5,000 रुपए का ब्रोकरेज फ्री। तो बनाइए फ्लो ऐप पर अपना डीमैट अकाउंट।
मेरे पास सेलो है, गर्मा गर्म चाय।
सेलो वैक्यूम स्टील की थर्मोसील टेक्नोलॉजी रखे गर्म को गर्म और ठंडे को ठंडा 24 घंटे। सेलो वैक्यूम स्टील फ्लास्क।
टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी एमडीएफ का लो एमिशन प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, हायर डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी है, यानी ये है जहाँ नो टेंशन वहाँ।
Low emission premium plus by Century ProWood.
When our big boss was MD, he used to take care of us.
And our Prince Sahab is busy insuring his family. Oh, big boss, you?
He's busy obtaining term insurance for his family. After all, office is also our family. Am I right?
Let's close the deal.
Thank you.
Verma ji, will you have tea with this prince?
LIC's Group Term Assurance Plan takes care of your office family.
Welcome back. Let's get you a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Insurance industry is now seeking relaxations. They're meeting the finance minister today. Yash Jain joins in with these important details. Yash.
Well, Rima, very quickly, of course, as we all know, the budget had announced taxation on large ticket savings life insurance policies where the premium is more than 5 lakhs a year. The industry did talk about the impact that it could have on the premium collection from that segment, and the latest that we've been given to understand is that a large industry body is expected to meet the finance minister today. This is in relation to that very budget announcement. Essentially, what this industry body seeks on behalf of the insurance sector is to raise that limit from 5 lakhs annually, which has been announced in the budget, to 10 lakhs. The industry feels that the money which comes in this segment, which is long-term and large savings life insurance policies, is largely retirement money. And if these policies start getting taxed, then it will have an impact on the retirement money which a lot of people plan. The meeting is expected to happen today. The key demand, of course, is raise that limit from 5 lakhs annually of premium to 10 lakhs premium.
All right, Yash, thanks a lot for getting us all of the details there. We will, of course, keep coming back to you if you pick up any more details from this meeting. But moving on now, like we told you, the RBI's MPC policy meeting is underway. The two-day meeting is underway, and they will be announcing their decision tomorrow. Ahead of that, we had a CNBC TV18 poll. So Ritu is here with the results of that poll. Ritu.
Well, with inflation softening and the US Federal Reserve also moderating the pace of its hikes, 70% of our respondents said they expect RBI to settle for a smaller rate hike of 25 basis points this time around, with 30% voting for a status quo policy. But more importantly, it looks like we're nearing the end of this rate hike cycle, with 100% of the respondents saying that the February rate hike will be the last one, which brings us to the peak rate in this cycle, and there 90% expect 6.5% to be the peak repo rate. On the inflation front, majority is expecting that RBI will lower its inflation forecast for the fiscal by about 10 to 20 basis points, given the cooling off that we've seen in the last few months. On the macro GDP front, no change is expected, 6.8% growth forecast for FY23. Now, on the stance, the street is divided, however. 40% believe that it will retain the stance at withdrawal of accommodation. 20% believe it will tweak the wording of the stance without shifting it. But 40% do expect RBI to shift its stance to neutral this time around. In terms of other things that the markets will be watching out for, one, any soft signal about a pause come April from the governor's statement this time around. And secondly, the continuing dissent within the MPC on the policy action is also something that the markets will keep an eye out for.
All right, Ritu, thank you very much for that. And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Trading Hour. Do stay tuned. Up next, an interesting conversation with TV Narendran of Tata Steel on the company's third quarter performance.
brought to you by Q.